had to do a little vroom vroom because where I'm at right now, it is cruising the coast, and man, oh man, it's been an amazing ride. And this past week has been an amazing ride with the amount of industry news that we actually have, right?
Yes, it's I don't know if you guys have heard, but the God of Mischief is back. What? Yes, Loki season 2. That was exciting. Our friend Shanola Hampton's new show dropped, Found. It was pretty exciting. There's all kinds of new stuff coming out, if you can believe it or not. So yeah, it's been an amazing week for television, at least, right? So that's exciting. But the Netflix raising prices, Disney being sued. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and we, as always, are excited to talk about it all.
Exactly. And you brought up new, and something new that we've been doing. It's kind of like a new challenge. I know we posted a little bit on social media,
Yep.
but I'm talking about Sober October.
Yes.
Now, we're very excited about this because, as you all know, I have an upcoming wedding to get prepared for, and I'm trying to make sure I'm in the best possible shape. And this has been the first week that Dustin and I have been doing Sober October, which means no alcohol, no any particular substance, no sweet food, no crazy like gluttonous food, and a lot of exercise. And man, it's this first week was very interesting because I definitely found myself going through the days like, man, I really wish I could have a drink at the end of the day, or I really wish I could have a sweet or something along those lines. But yeah, I mean, the shin splints, if you guys follow me on social media, the shin splints really came in hard. So I had to take a day off the other day, but I'm excited to get back to it after today's recording.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest about it. For me, the hardest part is like, because if you guys follow me on social media, I've been hiking, I've been climbing mountains and like chasing waterfalls, all kinds of shit. So the exercise part wasn't too hard. But you also know that I enjoy my wine at the end of every night. So to cut out the alcohol for the whole month, that's been a little challenging. And my coffee, I've not put creamer in it or whatever. I've just been going black because I'm trying to stay away from any of the extra stuff. It's been interesting. That's been interesting, but it's fun though. It's fun too, and you got to change it up. We're so used to kind of doing things certain ways, and always kind of. I changed up my route the other day. I went a different route on the hike, and a little dangerous, but it's been fun though. I'm looking forward. 1 week down, 3 weeks to go. Can't wait to see what the results are at the end of it. It's been really cool, and if you guys don't know, not only are we doing this to get ready for the upcoming wedding and everything, but you guys know we have another podcast, a mental health podcast, Everything's Okay. And one of the things that it highlights, we talk about addictions. And there are a lot of people out there that suffer from all types of addictions. And we really want to let all of those people know, all of you know, that you're not alone in that we're here for you. And we're kind of doing it in correlation. We're doing the Sober October in support of anybody who might be battling an addiction and fighting to get through it and struggling. We want you to know that we're here for you. We are with you, and you can do it. You can do it. And if by all means, if you need help, reach out and ask for help because you don't have to do it alone. So yeah, I hope you guys are following along. Root us on. We're having a little bit of a contest as to see who can lose the most weight over the month. We're going to give you all the results at the end of the month. So, yeah, it's been fun, man.
It really has. It really has. I think by the end of it, whoever like loses the most weight, or like can go back and track calories and like walks and all that stuff, the other one should buy Funko for the other one. The person should buy a Funko for the other one.
All right.
I think that'd be fun.
I want Walt Disney with the camera. Like,
oh, okay.
I already got mine picked out.
Yeah, right. Goodness gracious. But man, we're super excited about today's show. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yes.
Well, let's get into it. What's up, guys? Oh my goodness, it's fall, y'all. We're super excited to be back. 236 of ITCAF podcast. You guys know your host with the most, myself, J-Lo Fantastic, and the one and only Mo.
What's up?
Man, oh man, it's been a great freaking journey. Loving life, man, loving life. And before we tease the rest of this show, of course, I've got to say, be sure to leave a rating on this show, because if you comment below and tell us what you actually think about the show, it's going to help us immensely. It
Good or
gets
bad.
the algorithm going, and it gets it out to people who enjoy entertainment news or people who are trying to break into the entertainment industry. We are the one-stop shop podcast with interviews, industry news, and the fun box office and top 5 segments that keep you up to date with everything that's going on in the entertainment capital of the world, Hollywood.
Yes.
And man, oh man, we're super excited about it because, like we've teased a little bit before and like we've talked about on past shows, the WGA strike is over. So what does that mean for SAG-AFTRA? Well, we do have an update on everything going on with that particular strike. We also do have all the news going down with all the major studios. A lot of, lawsuits going on, a lot of new projects coming our way, things getting renewed, things getting canceled. We have everything you need to know at ITCAF podcast.
Yes.
Man. We're super excited about it.
We're so close, y'all. So close to interviews again. That's all I'm saying. So close. If we can get this SAG-AFTRA stuff figured out, we are so close. And I'm really pumped for that. I'm so glad you brought that up, because our next interview, guys, 200th guest. It will be our 200th guest. How freaking awesome is that, man? That should be enough right now. I'm going to call up Bob and Zasloff and all the guys and say, listen, we're trying to get our 200th guest. Can you just get this shit over with so we can have somebody on to talk to us? Like, come on.
For sure, man, for sure. But yes, we're super excited about it. Also, be sure to head over to our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. We got the shirts, we got the hats, we have socks, we have pajamas, we have basically anything and everything you need for your merchandise needs. That's right, guys. And also, if you out there want to start a podcast, be sure to reach out to us. We are now taking consultations about podcasts. We want to help you find your voice and find your equipment and find your hosting websites. We want to give you all the information you need so that you don't have to spend hours on the internet just trying to figure out where to get started. We will definitely give you that information and send you home with a 12-page packet so that you will know all of the information we just discussed, and so you will be ready to start your podcast and find your voice.
I mean, we've got 6 years experience, right? Like,
It's
I
true.
mean, we kind of know what we're doing after 6 years. I feel like we got you covered.
Just saying, ready to rock and roll, man. But yes, like I teased a little bit earlier, we want to start off with SAG-AFTRA, because you guys know SAG-AFTRA and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers will meet for further negotiations in the former's ongoing strikes. The parties announced on Wednesday this past week that SAG-AFTRA and the AMPTP met for a full day of bargaining sessions and have concluded. Now, negotiations did continue on Friday, with the parties working initially over the internally over the weekend, resuming Monday, October 9th. So I'm glad they're staying on top of this bad boy at least. The studios and streamers and the guild concluded its second session of talks at SAG-AFTRA's Miracle Mile headquarters in Los Angeles, California, with little details coming out about the framework for the potential deal, or more importantly, what might be holding it up. The mood in Hollywood is equally panicked and exasperated as the industry awaits the outcome for the negotiations. Now, after the Writers Guild of America reached a deal in late September, remember a couple weeks ago that we told you, many have been cautiously realigning calendars and preparing to spring back into action. This not only includes a logjam of shuttered productions, but also an attempt to salvage the film awards season by trotting out their star talent. Remember, not a lot of people have been able to promote their films. SAG-AFTRA is seeking a favorable 3-year negotiation contract from the producers, like the WGA got a couple weeks ago. Key deal points include increased protection for actors from advancing AI technology, as well as unprecedented profit participation from streaming revenues. Now, the WGA was successful in seeking similar points in those negotiations. Leading the talks for SAG-AFTRA is Executive President Duncan Crabtree, Ireland, and Union President, the nanny star herself, Fran Drescher. Now, the AMTP president, Carol, Lamborghini. It looks like Lamborghini, but I know it's not Lamborghini.
Lamborghini. There you go.
Lamborghini, almost. That was close. Is representing for the producers on the AMPTP side. As well as the WGA talks, top media CEOs are also at the table because they want to get this thing done and get back to work. We're talking about NBC Universal's Donna Langley, Disney's Bob Iger, Netflix's Ted Sarandos, and Warner Brothers Discovery's douchebag himself, David Zaslav. But at least he's at the table, man. At least he's in the room. I got to give him credit for that. At least he's not being a baby back bitch and just staying at his headquarters. So I'm hopeful, man. Like I sent out in a tweet this past week, I think it might take a little bit longer than the WGA. So hopefully it does. I do think it will get to that 100-day mark. But I don't think I will reverse what I just said. I don't think it'll get to that 148-day mark.
Oh, so yeah, no.
Everybody wants to get back to work.
Yeah, and I'm really encouraged by it all because the fact that they're still, they met Wednesday, they met again on Friday, and they're meeting again this coming Monday. They're not coming out and saying, we didn't do anything. We'll just, right. And then calling off the talks. The fact that the talks are continuing, the fact that the CEOs are still in the room, that says to me that it's getting close, that they're finding points that they're agreeing on and they're getting close to a deal. I really do feel like maybe by the end of next week, we're going to get an announcement. I really feel confident that that's going to happen. So, yeah, I think finally we're going to see it and everything is going to get back to normal, and I can't freaking wait. Unfortunately, when Bob is done with these talks and getting everything back the way he wants it with the actors and the writers and all that good stuff, he's got a lawsuit to contend with. And I kind of think an unfair lawsuit, but maybe not. Maybe fair, maybe not. But anyway, we're jumping over to Disney, and Julia Ormond, the English actress best known for her roles in 90s films such as Legends of the Fall, First Night, and Smilla's Sense of Snow, is suing Harvey Weinstein for sexual battery. Now, Ormond is additionally suing CAA, the Walt Disney Company, and Miramax. While Weinstein has been named as the defendant in numerous sexual assaults since exposés published in 2017 in the New York Times and New Yorker uncovered his alleged patterns of misconduct towards dozens of women in the entertainment industry. It is rare for business partners that profited from Weinstein's work to be named as defendants for supposedly enabling his behavior. Now that's the key, because that's what she's going after. Ormond is suing CAA for negligence and breach of fiduciary duty. Miramax, the company that Weinstein co-founded with his brother Bob, and the Walt Disney Company, which owned Miramax in the 90s, are being sued for negligent supervision and retention. Now, numerous former Miramax and Disney executives are cited in the lawsuit, including Michael Eisner, who was Disney CEO at the time, and Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was chairman of Disney, though they are not defendants. The Disney execs mentioned in the lawsuit and no longer working there at the company. We should say chairman of Walt Disney Studios, not chairman of Walt Disney Company. I don't think that's accurate right there. So this is interesting, though, guys. She's claiming, and I feel like it's definitely true, because if you hear her account, she's saying she was invited to dinner by him. She showed up. He popped out naked, masturbated in front of her, and then forced her to give him oral sex. That sounds like the account of every woman that has sued against him. It appears to be true. But yeah, the idea of saying, she basically said there's no way that this was going on, and the people at these companies didn't know about it. And that so her argument is not only did they know about it, but by not stopping it, they were fostering it, allowing it to happen, which is why she's naming them in the lawsuit. I think she's obviously going to win against Harvey. That's a given. I don't know if she's going to have much movement against CAA and Disney. It's my sincerest hope that is if she does, that's going to set a benchmark to the rest of these companies. Because let's be honest about it, CBS, it swept the Les Moonves stuff under the carpet, and all these companies they know, and they just keep paying people off or sweeping it under the carpet and trying to hide it. And so if she actually wins this, the rest of them guys, those studios, they might be in trouble. They might start rethinking about hiding shit and trying to get. So I hope that she's successful. I just don't know if it's going to be how successful,
Right, definitely. And I'm curious too, because with your law background and everything, so everybody who is named in the lawsuit can be called to testify, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I would.
That'll be very interesting to recount stuff that happened like 30 years ago, maybe conversations in passing or something like that, specifically with people who don't work for the company anymore. I mean, Eisner went on to do a whole bunch of different stuff, and then, Katzenberg went on to do Quibi. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plans out. But it is a developing situation that, of course, ITCAF podcast will stay on top of. So, yeah, man, absolutely wild.
Yes.
But as you know, we've been keeping you up to date with something else, the unionizing of visual effects artists. So last month, around 50 Marvel visual effects workers, many of whom create the magic behind the studio's biggest films and TV shows, voted to unionize. That vote marked the first time any VFX workers have unionized with their crafts union, hoping for fair pay, healthcare, and safer, more visible or more suitable working environments. Now, on Tuesday, Disney FX workers joined Marvel and voted in favor to unionize. Now, in a 13-0 result, VFX workers at Walt Disney Pictures voted to join the IATSE.
Oof.
Now, in recent years, VFX artists have been facing increased workloads and tighter deadlines, as we all have talked about, with that executive being fired from Marvel recently.
Yep.
Even tighter turnaround times as well, and longer working hours without the protections of a union that can offer them that. Until now, IATSE represents more than 168,000 technicians, artisans, and craftspersons working in movies and television, including positions in production design, camera, sound, editing, and hair and makeup. Yet, VFX artists have not been unionized yet. And the votes herald a change for VFX workers who have become pivotal to many productions over the past decades. And at the top of the agenda were healthcare and fair pay, as they should be. And this is by no surprise, because with the more in demand this craft is, the more people are wanting their needs, and the people are wanting their efforts. So this only makes sense. I feel like every single position, every single above the line, below the line, should definitely be unionized in any sort of work environment. I mean, so I'm happy this is happening.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just be honest with you. This was a direct response to Bob Chapek's fuck up.
Oh yeah,
that because the pressure that they were under to get these shows onto Disney Plus, the Star Wars shows and the Marvel shows, they were, and the result was people being pissed off about the shoddy visual effects. So they took the heat for basically not having enough time to finish this stuff. This is, in my opinion, a direct response to that. They're going to unionize to make sure that doesn't happen again. And Look, I think this is just the beginning. I think, like you said, we're going to see a lot more divisions within film and television unionize if they're not already unionized. And it's going to step outside of this industry. We're already seeing it everywhere. More and more people are on strike in different industries because they're trying to get adequate pay. So, yeah, I think this is just the beginning, and I think the studios are going to have to realize that, this is coming, and they're going to have to do right. And we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be one of those things that we continue to follow because, like I said, it's going to make a huge difference. But it is going to suck if every 3 years we have strikes with everybody and we have to keep doing this kind of stuff. So let's hope that does not happen. Something did happen, though, which is really interesting. Jenna Boyd has been appointed Senior Vice President of Development for Disney-branded television. Now, the announcement was made by Charlie Andrews, Executive Vice President of Live Action and Unscripted Content. Boyd will report to Andrews and oversee the scripted series development team, as well as creatively supervise production for, and here's the interesting part, Disney Plus and Disney Channel scripted series pilots. Now, Boyd most recently ran her own production company, Field Day Entertainment. She partnered with the Cartel, not that cartel, where she additionally served as manager to build a talent roster and create kids' family animation content for both broadcasters and streamers. So before founding Field Day Entertainment, Boyd served as director of kids and family series at Netflix. So my reading into that, I feel like she's been brought on to try to bring more family-friendly entertainment to Disney Plus and the Disney Channel. That's what I think, which is interesting because they tend to be opening up and seem to be okay with more adult content on Disney Plus. So that'll be interesting to see how she balances that. That's going to be cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, though, because they're like, hey, the brand family-friendly. We got to pivot a little bit. We got to balance that out. But I mean, El Chapo really cares about kids channels. So I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised. But I know everybody who is a Marvel fan is very happy for this because it was one of the biggest things to come out of Phase 4. Tom Hiddleston is back and ready to bring more mayhem for Season 2 of Loki, which returned to Disney Plus on Thursday this past week. In the new season, Hiddleston reprises his obvious role of the God of Mischief, sharing the screen with returning actor Owen Wilson. And new cast members Ke-Huy Quan, Oscar winner, and set after the events of Avengers Endgame, as you all know from the first season. The series will continue to follow the anti-hero as he works with the Time Variance Authority to track down superhero variants, stoking chaos in different timelines of the multiverse. Now, Wilson will reprise his role as Morbius in Morbius, though his character arc in Season 2 takes a dramatic turn, given the loss of some of his memory in Season 1's finale, if you guys remember that. Now, other returning characters include Eugene Cordero, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Sofia Di Martino, Tara Strong, Rafael Casal, and more. When Season 1 ended, Hiddleston was stuck in a reality that he did not recognize after the multiverse was ravaged by the death of He Who Remains, played by Jonathan Majors. Now, Quan, best known for his Oscar-winning role as Waymond in Everything Everywhere All at Once, is the most notable addition to the cast, in addition to Game of Thrones actor Kate Dickie, who appears as a villain. So this is very exciting. I have not started yet, so I'm super excited to hop back on.
Yes, me too. And from what I understand, Quan steals the series. Listen, if you can upstage Hiddleston's Loki, you're doing something crazy because that man is pristine as Loki, right? He's just he was the guy that stole every scene. So now if you've got somebody in it that's stealing his steam, that's going to be great. They did address Jonathan Majors. They said this is the first and only Marvel series so far where everything that was shot was used. They didn't have to go back and do any pickup shots or reshoot anything. And it was completed prior to the problems that Jonathan Majors is currently going through. So that's why it wasn't addressed. That's why he's still in it. We don't know the future. We don't know if he is going to be recast. It very likely could be, but we don't know. We are innocent until proven guilty. We don't know what's going to happen there, but let's just say there's a chance. But I wanted to put that out there because I did see that they said that that's why. So don't come at them with any anger about why. This is why it was all done the way it was done, okay? All right? Don't bring the hate because we know how people love to bring the fucking hate. Like, just come on. We also know, though, that people like to bring the love, and they bring a lot of love to Steve Martin, right? And Selena Gomez and Martin Short. And we know that because Hulu has renewed Only Murders in the Building for a 4th season. The news comes the same day as Hulu's release of the season 3 finale. The series follows, of course, Charles Hayden Savage, played by Steve Martin, Oliver Putman, played by Martin Short, and Mabel Mora by the lovely Selena Gomez. 3 neighbors in a New York City apartment called Arconia, who come together in season 1 to record a true crime podcast about the murder of a fellow resident, Tim Conyo. Now, season 2 saw them investigate the murder of Bunny Folger, president of the apartment's board. In season 3, they seek the killer of Ben Glenroy, Mr. Paul Rudd himself, a famous actor who dies on the opening night of his Broadway debut in Oliver's play. Meryl Streep also starred as castmate Loretta Durkin. Now, Only Murders in the Building is Hulu's most watched original comedy series to date, and its 3rd season had the most watched premiere day of any Hulu scripted original in 2023 thus far. Now, according to Nielsen's weekly streaming rankings, the show ranked as the number 9 most watched title of the week upon the launch of season 3, and the number 3 streaming original series. It has remained a top 6 streaming original in the following weeks. So that only makes sense that they're renewing it. People love this show. We'll talk about what was number 1 and kept this one from being number 1. We've got that one, and I think you guys will know what it is. But I'm excited for this. I've loved this show from the beginning. I think that the chemistry between those 3 is outstanding. I love how they keep bringing in these awesome guest stars and just upping the level. It's amazing, and I would highly recommend if you guys have not checked out that show, get on it because it's fucking hysterical. It's great.
Oh, most definitely. Have you started season 3 yet?
I have started season 3. Have you?
I have. I think we're basically caught up. I think. But honestly, this is my least favorite season, which is interesting with the amount of guest stars.
Really?
I don't know why. I've been a little bit more bored with it, but I don't know. It's very interesting. So hopefully that gets better. And I was honestly surprised it was renewed for season 4 because how many people are just going to keep dying around these motherfuckers? Like,
well,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I think I wasn't bored with it. I think maybe if I had a criticism of it, it seemed it was a bit over the top. It was like they were trying to go just over crazy with it, right? Hence Paul Rudd and bringing it, right? So if I had a critique, it would be that. But I enjoyed it. I really love the trio. I think the 3 of them are fantastic together. So maybe they'll back off in season 4. Maybe they'll try to get back to the smaller level of and keep it more between just the 3, like the first season was. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. But we are getting an executive look or an exclusive look at the first footage and key art from Hulu Originals, The Artful Dodger. Now, Disney's Australian series starring Thomas Brody Sangster, David Thwills, and Maya Mitchell. And it is set to premiere Wednesday, November 29th on Hulu in the U.S. build and revenant follow-up to Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist, exploring the adult double life of the famous Prince of Thieves. The series is set in the 1850s Australia, where Jack Dawkins, aka Young Rogue, the Artful Dodger, is now all grown up and has transferred his skills as a pickpocket to a nimble finger of a surgeon. His past returns to haunt him, though. Of course it has, with the arrival of Fagin, who is luring back into the world of crime. while the local governor's daughter, who is determined to become the colony's first female surgeon, appears to be a greater threat to him, at least to his heart.
Oh.
The 8 episode series is a tale of reinvention, betrayal, redemption, and a love with a twist, with Damon Harriman, Miranda Tapsil, and Tim Minchin leading the supporting cast as well. Now, the series is created by James McNamara and David Marr. And also David Teller as well. Couldn't forget him.
No.
But yeah, man, that definitely sounds interesting. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah, anytime they bring on something that references an old classic, I always feel like that's a hit or miss. It's either going to do really well or it's not going to live up to the classic and it's going to not go so well. So I guess we'll find out. Hey, guess what? People aren't over Dancing with the Stars the way we thought they were. Maybe there's some life left in it. Apparently, Dancing with the Stars season 32 premiere jumped to 6.5 million total viewers and recorded a 1.08 rating amongst the adults 18 to 49 in the multi-platform plus 3-day viewing metrics provided by Nielsen. That's a growth of 1.72 million in total viewers and by 69% in the key demo. Now, the season 32 premiere of Dancing with the Stars opened to high scores on Tuesday night, earning a demo win for ABC on the night as it pushed past the competition. According to Live Plus same-day national viewership data from Nielsen, the episode recorded a 0.64 rating amongst the key adults 1849 demographic, placing it ahead of NBC's combo of The Voice Tuesday night premiere and America's Got Talent season finale. That's a shocker to me right there because The Voice is so powerful. So the fact that it placed higher in 1849 over The Voice, that's just nuts. The episode was simulcast on ABC and Disney Plus and became available for next day streaming on Hulu on Wednesday. I'm going to go ahead and credit this surge, this. People love Julianne Hough. And she's co-hosting it now with Alfonso. They got rid of Tyra Banks. I think Tyra Banks is the reason it kind of started to tank. I'm just saying it, when Tom Bergeron and Aaron Andrews left, people left. And they weren't a fan of what Tyra Banks was trying to do with the reboot of it or whatever. And now you've got Derek and Julianne both back. Derek's on the judging bench and Julianne's co-hosting. So, and I mean, they've always been two of the most popular people on that show. So to have them both back and have them interacting and everything, I think that's why we saw a surge. Will it hold? Will it stay? We don't know. But apparently, for at least for a little bit, Dancing with the Stars is back. So we'll see. We'll see.
There it is, man. There it is. I'm not gonna lie. I did watch the first episode, and it was somewhat entertaining.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. But I did see Adrian Peterson on there, and then all I could think about was when he was in that controversy for beating his kid with the Switch.
And they took some heat for casting him. They really did. Yeah. People were not happy about that.
Yeah, I also watched the first episode of The Golden Bachelor. Don't make fun of me for that, but it's hilarious. It's also a little fucking cringy, but it's fine.
Bro, I could get Dancing with the Stars. Let's be honest about it. Men flocked to Dancing with the Stars when that shit first came on, and it was a huge hit because women loved it, and men could sit there and watch it with them because of the women. Let's not pretend that it's anything else, okay? There might be a few men out there that enjoy the dancing, but most of them are just enjoying the women dancing. Let's just call it for what it is. Now, the Golden... I don't know. I'm going to reserve my judgment. I'm not going to say you do you. I don't know what that was, but you have fun with that one.
It was interesting. But FX is hoping to scare up the interest in its upcoming American Horror Story American Horror Stories that is set to premiere October 26th on Hulu, just in time for Halloween.
Yes.
The network just dropped the trailer for the 4-episode spinoff of Ryan Murphy and Brad Falcon's American Horror Story. Now, the American Horror Stories is an anthology series that will feature a different horror story each episode. So that's very exciting. It's a cult classic, so I'm sure it's going to do pretty well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Kim Kardashian's in one of those, right? It's not the horror stories one, but it's the new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't know which one, but she's in one of them.
I don't know. I brought that up because I just saw a headline where people are basically saying she's using her role in that set to shade her family. I guess she's at odds with her family.
I don't know. I haven't
just
caught up. I haven't
mean,
caught up on Kardashian, so
I
I guess I
mean,
need to.
yeah, I just it's I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't. The whole family
Why are we
is
talking about this family?
Exactly.
It's
The
like,
family
why
is
do we
just
have so
kind of
much
like
interest in this family.
And why are we
The whole
upset
world.
if they're upset with each other? Like every
whole
family has
world.
drama, right?
Why
like,
do we care so much about the Kardashians? Like, but we do.
We do.
I can't say anything because I fucking love that shit.
It's
I don't know why.
train wreck people can't stop watching. That's what it is. I do have something that people did stop watching though, apparently, and that's over on Fox. Fox is further paring down its live action comedy roster. The network has canceled Welcome to Flatch after just 2 seasons. The mockumentary series, created by Jenny Bix and based on the BBC series This Country, finished its 2nd season in February. The series also counts Paul Feig among its executive producers. Now, if you didn't know, and apparently you didn't because not many people watch it, Welcome to Flatch follows the eccentric residents of small Ohio town centered on 2 cousins. The cast also includes Justin Linville, Taylor Ortega, Crystal Smith, Aya Cash, Sean William Scott, and Jamie Presley. The series was one of, apparently, the least watched on Fox for both of its seasons. In 2022-23, it averaged only 1.24 million viewers and only a 0.28 rating amongst the coveted 18 to 49. Ugh. Yeah, no one. Well, that tells you everything you need to know right there about why it was canceled. If you can't get the 18 to 49, you ain't gonna last. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly, man. Exactly. That shit's so freaking funny. But this next one is very interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. It's an interesting concept, but I mean, I don't know how people feel about Costner right now. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But anyway, we're hopping over to the bunny. Warner Brothers Discovery. Kevin Costner's 2-part Western epic Horizon: An American Saga is coming to theaters next summer. Chapter 1 is going to be released on June 28th in 2024. And then right around the corner from that, Chapter 2 will land August 16th of 2024. Now, according to Warner Brothers and New Line, the first movie will open against Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2, which did pretty well, while the sequel premieres a week after Lionsgate's Borderlands adaptation, that video game adaptation starring Cate Blanchett and Kevin Hart. Now, Costner has been teasing this big plan for Horizon for a while now, which has originally planned for its 4 different movies to be released every 3 months. It is not clear if Costner still plans to stretch out this Horizon franchise into a 4-part saga. Now, in addition to directing, Costner is starring in Horizon: An American Saga, along with Sienna Miller, Sam Worthington, and Luke Wilson. Now, the story spans 15 years in the settlement of America's western frontier and focuses on settlers and indigenous groups that first occupied the land. Now, Horizon: An American Saga is Costner's 4th directorial effort following 2003's Open Range and 1996's The Postman, along with 1990's Oscar Best Picture winning Dances with Wolves. Now, this is just, I don't know, like releasing the movies so close together. Like, don't you want to build up some anticipation? Like, I'm kind of confused by that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I even feel about this film. It sounds like it might be pretty good. I'm just not sure it's going to do well.
Right?
Especially the first one, I don't think is going to do well because it's opening against Tom. That's a bad idea. People love Kevin Costner, but people are also pissed at Kevin Costner because of this movie, because of our next story, Yellowstone. This is the reason John Dutton dies, people. This is why we're not continuing with the Yellowstone that we love, because of this movie. So I don't know how that's going to play out. So let's jump on over to Paramount. As you guys know, they're re-showing Yellowstone on CBS. They're about halfway through its airing of the first season, and they're averaging 4.4 million viewers that tuned in to catch the fourth episode of season 1 this past Sunday. Episode 5 aired directly afterwards, and it reached just under 4 million viewers. Now, last week, the network's broadcast of Yellowstone opened with 5 million viewers for episode 2 and closed with 4.5 million, meaning Sunday's episodes were down 11.5% and 11.9% from last week, respectively. But don't panic. These averages are based on live plus same-day data from Nielsen. And still, these are solid numbers for repeat programming. Guys, you have to remember, these episodes airing on CBS right now are 5 years old, as Yellowstone premiered back on 2018 on the Paramount Network. So it's in its 5th season. So to draw 5 million, 4 million viewers for a show that's 5 years old, I mean, that's pretty impressive. And like we told you about last week, no doubt the numbers went down a little bit because people realized that they can go watch the unedited full versions of them on Peacock right now. So I guarantee you that's where, there we are again. Thumbs up. I don't know. Clearly Zoom thinks you should go watch it on Peacock. That's all I'm saying.
Apparently.
But I think that's why the numbers went down a little bit, right? People who have never heard of it are catching it on CBS and then realizing they can go check it all out on Peacock. So I think while we finish off the next 5 episodes, I think it's going to be similar. We're going to be saying that each week the numbers are going to be going down. So, and that's my reason behind it. I think that's truly what's happening right there.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, that makes the most sense in my opinion. The popularity I feel like of this show is going down, which is unfortunate because it's a great freaking show. But we'll see what happens with the Matthew McConaughey spinoff. I'm very curious, and the Sixes, and all the different Yellowstone spinoffs. It'll be interesting to see if that interest is still there.
It is for me.
Showtime. Oh yeah, I see. I think it is too. But I don't know. I just feel like all the negative press. I don't know.
I think that's why some people dropped off, though. I think that's why a lot of people have the same attitude that you did right there about they're just not interested anymore. I think that unfortunately, the backlash towards Costner has laid into the show a little bit, which is why I'm hoping that we see a rebound because it's unfair to the rest of the cast, because it was a really good show. And it was a really good show. And, the rest of the cast deserves better. So I hope the spinoffs do well. I hope people want to continue to see the story and see where the rest of the Duttons go. Because, John's dead.
Definitely.
We assume John's dead. There's no, if you're going to get rid of him, you have to kill him. That's just my
You have
opinion.
to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way I feel like that character would go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Come on.
No.
But Showtime has shared the first look images of The Curse, starring Emma Stone, Nathan Fielder, and Benny Safdie. Now, the series will have its world premiere at New York Film Festival on October 12th. Now, screening the first 3 episodes. That's really exciting. Now, the NYFF will then present the remaining 7 episodes of the 10-part series. This marks the first time that the festival is theatrically sneaking previews of an episodic series over the course of the original airing season. The genre-bending series follows the newly married couple portrayed by Stone and Fielder, who are trying to conceive a child while starring in their own home improvement show. The couple is forced to navigate the alleged curse said to disturb their relationship. Now, The Curse will premiere on Paramount Plus on November 10th and air November 12th on Showtime. The series is a co-production from Showtime and A24. Safdie and Field are co-creators and executive producers on the show as well. Now, Stone, Dave McRae, Ali Herting, and Josh Safdie will also executive produce this thing. So that's an interesting premise. I might have to go and give that one a watch, especially with Amelia. I really like her, so I think that'll be a really cool thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm in on anything that Emma Stone stars in. I think she's
Anything.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all in. She's at least worth checking it out every time.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hey, Showtime also released the trailer for their upcoming limited series Fellow Travelers, starring Matt Bomer and Jonathan Bailey. That one's set to premiere on October 27th on the streaming and on demand for Showtime and Paramount Plus subscribers. Now, this 8-episode romance political thriller is based on the novel of the same name by Thomas Mallon. Bomer stars as Hawkins Fuller, who works behind the scenes in politics and avoids emotional attachments until meeting Tim Laughlin, an idealistic and religious young man. Their romance blossoms at the same time that Joseph McCarthy and Roy Cohn declare a war on subversives and sexual deviants. The story is told over 4 decades and follows characters Marcus, Lucy, and Frankie in addition to Hawkins and Tim. The show depicts Viet War protests, the drugs and music of the 70s, and the AIDS crisis in the 80s, in addition to the characters' interpersonal issues. Now, the series will debut, as I said, on October 29th on Showtime at 9 p.m. Eastern. Fellow Travelers was created by Ron Niswainer, who also serves as executive producer. Bomer, Robbie Rogers, and Dee Johnson also executive produce. Daniel Minahan executive produces and directs the first 2 episodes. Fremantle and Showtime will co-produce the series. That sounds interesting. I mean, I think everybody is kind of... Now, we're not bouncing back and forth in the timelines, I don't think, but it just seems like ever since This Is Us, everybody wants to jump on that. Let's span decades and cover everything kind of a thing, so... And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, so we'll see.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. I like that they're dealing with these hot topics,
Yeah,
these hot button issues. I think that's going to be
for
cool.
sure.
Paramount Plus is giving Stephen King fans a Halloween treat with an exclusive release of Pet Sematary Bloodlines.
Ooh.
Now, this is a prequel movie starring Tell Me Lies breakout star Jackson White and Forrest Goodluck. From Paramount Plus's official synopsis, in 1969, a young Judd Crandall has dreams of leaving his hometown of Ludlow, Maine behind, but soon discovers sinister secrets buried within and is forced to confront a dark family history that will forever keep him connected to Ludlow. Now, banding together, Judd and his childhood friend must fight an ancient evil that has gripped Ludlow since its founding, and once unearthed has the power to destroy everything in its path. I know you're super excited about this one because you're a big Pet Cemetery fan, so I think it's going to be good, but it's obviously going to end in a cliffhanger because of with this being a prequel leading into the next thing. But everybody loves this shit. So
oh yeah, dude. Yeah. I loved the original. So I'm all in on this. I'm curious to see the background story of the people that we get to know later on. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. This one should be interesting. This next one, because I think I'm gonna watch this. I'm kind of in. I'm curious about this. Paramount Plus has announced a documentary that will spotlight boy bands and their place in pop culture. Music manager Johnny Wright, who was of course the one behind New Kids on the Block, NSYNC, Britney Spears, and more, joins Gunpower and Sky CEO Van Toffler to produce the project exploring the boy band obsessed era of the late 1990s and early 2000s. The documentary will include the songs, band members, and personalities who define the time period and explain the popularity of boy bands. Yeah, I'm all in because it was like, it's odd. I'm in because I want to know what was the fascination of the boy bands. I don't. It's basically like they created boy versions of like the Temptations or the Four Tops, right? Or the Jackson 5. Let's even just go back to the Jackson 5, where they're all dressed the same. They do the choreographed dance moves and they're singing. I mean, it was basically just like a reboot of that. But it worked. So, and hell, they're all still out there. They're all still touring and doing shit. So, let's find out why.
It really was a phenomena. I don't know what that was in the early 2000s and late 90s, but I guess we'll find out,
I guess
right?
we will. I mean,
Well,
but dude, people
uh,
are still obsessed with fun. Look at when they reunited recently in
yeah.
Sync. People were fucking going nuts about that. New kids still fill stadiums and still fill out things when they do their tours. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. It's there.
I I don't know, man. It is wild. It is wild. Well, this next one kind of sucks because I know Emily was a big fan of this one, and I mean, it was the episodes that I jumped in on. I mean, it was actually entertaining.
No,
I
it's
like how they
great.
did the more adult version. I'm of course talking about Paramount Plus's iCarly. Now, this one will not be returning for its fourth season, aka canceled. The Paramount Plus spokesperson said in a quote, "The series had a great three-series run and delivered on what fans wanted to see, with Carly and Freddie finally getting together. We want to thank you, the entire cast, the writers, the directors, and producers, along with the whole crew that dedicated their creativity and their talent to this show." Now, ordered in 2020, the reboot series picked up with an adult version of Carly Shay, who, of course, is played by Miranda Cosgrove. 10 years older, and she is reunited with her brother Spencer, who's played by Jerry Trainer, and longtime friend and cameraman Freddie, who, of course, is played by the one and only Nathan Kress, as they set out to revamp her popular wed show with the help of old and new friends. Now, Lacey Mosley joined as an original cast member as Carly's new friend, Harper, along with Jaden Triplett, who portrayed Freddie's stepsister, Melissa, stepdaughter, Melissa. But yeah, I guess they did leave it on a cliffhanger because I guess they were finally going to meet Carly's mom, but not now. That
Yeah.
bitch don't exist.
Well,
So
this show did the kiss of death. It's true for every single show that does this. If you have a couple that the audience desperately wants together, you have to continue to tease that. You have to bring it right to the brink and not let it happen. Bring it right to the brink and not let it happen. Bring it right to the brink and not. That's how the show keeps going. That's the second that you get them together, it's over. It on every single show ever, whether it's a drama, a sitcom, whatever. When you get the couple together, it's been canceled right afterwards because the interest is gone, the intrigue, the suspense is gone. And I'm telling you, if they had not gotten Carly and Freddie together, this would have picked up for a fourth season. We would have found out who the mom was. We would have been kept rocking and rolling. But the second they got together, the fans were done. They're like, well, there it is. We got it. We got it. So
I think it was more the writer's strike. Everything that's canceled, I'm just giving it to the writers, or all the strikes.
I mean, for sure.
That's my reasoning for all these things. I mean, I feel like that interest is still there, but to each his own. I think, yeah, it sucks because a lot of people did like it.
No, I loved the first run of it. Emily was little when the first run was out, and we watched it all the time. It was a really good show. It was funny as shit. So I was excited for the reboot. I thought, and they did, like you said, they did really well. I liked the adult version where Carly was actually grown up and we were seeing them as adults. And look, I'm always down for, maybe it is the kiss of death for any show, but I'm always down when two people that are meant to be together get together. And it's the happy ending, right? The soulmates are actually soulmates and they're together. So I'm all in for that. I'm glad that's the way it ended and that, good.
Good.
But not good for the show. The 77th annual Tony Awards are moving to the Upper West Side. They're moving on up. And will take place at the David H. Koch Theater at Lincoln Center. It's the fourth location change in 4 years for Broadway's biggest night, held in prior years at Washington Heights, United Palace Theater, Radio City Music Hall, and the Winter Garden Theater. Now, CBS will broadcast the show on Sunday, June 16th. It will also stream live and on demand on Paramount Plus, which shares a parent company with the network, obviously. Now, nominations which honor the 2023-2024 Broadway season will be announced Tuesday, April 30th. A host has yet to be announced. Some of the musicals and plays that'll vie for the awards include the revival of Stephen Sondheim's Merrily We Roll Along, starring Jonathan Goff, Daniel Radcliffe, and Lindsay Mendez, Gutenberg the Musical, which reunites the Book of Mormon duo Andrew Wanalis and Josh Gad. Oh, see, now I thought Gutenberg was like a spinoff of the Police Academy movies. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. The Notebook, an adaptation of the Nicholas Sparks novel. Really? They did a Broadway show of that? And Pearly Victorious, which brings Leslie Odom Jr. back to the stage after his Tony-winning turn in Hamilton. Newsflash, Jonathan Groff was in Hamilton too, just saying. The King. We could have mentioned that as well. All right, just saying.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But man, I'm super excited about heading over to Universal because they actually have the most news.
Yeah, which they never do, right? Like,
yeah, Paramount and NBC. It's wild. But this next one is very interesting, and I teased this a little bit earlier. Chris Rock and Steven Spielberg are collaborating on a movie. And get this, guys. It's going to be about the life of the one and only Dr. Martin Luther King. Rock is in final talks to direct this thing and produce, with Spielberg as an executive producer. Now, the biographical drama will be adapted from Jonathan Igg's biography, King, A Life, which was optioned for the screen by Universal Pictures. I think this is going to be a very interesting concept, and I never knew that Chris Rock had interest in stepping behind the camera and being a director. He might be the next Jordan Peele. Who knows?
I mean,
yeah, man, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of details about this. What we just told you is really all that's out there, all that we know. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I think anytime you can get the backing of Steven Spielberg, it must be a solid idea for the movie. It must be something that they feel really comfortable with. Because Spielberg, let's be honest, he doesn't put his name on anything that he doesn't think is worthy of the name. So,
exactly.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Let's see. Universal and Blumhouse's sequel, The Exorcist Believer, it launched the box office this weekend and has already made $2.85 million in Thursday previews so far. The R-rated movie is expected to easily take the box office and make between $30 million and $36 million in its opening, which will mark the best launch of the horror franchise ever. Out of the previous 5 movies, the original 1973 Exorcist still stands tall with a huge $441 million lifetime box office gross. The film was originally slated for next weekend to coincide with Friday the 13th, but that didn't happen. Why? Because the film moved up a week to avoid the unexpected release on Friday the 13th of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour concert film, which is projected to bring in at least $100 million to start, which we know that's not, it's going to be way more than that because it sold $100 million worth of tickets in the pre-sale, so it's going to be well over $100 million. And obviously the producers knew they would have been clobbered, so they said, nope, let's not do it. So now The Exorcist Believer, the 6th installment in the Legacy franchise, has the benefit of having the weekend to itself, at least in terms of new nationwide offerings. Now, this one's set 50 years after the original 1973 film, which did become a box office smash and was the first horror film to ever receive an Oscar nomination for Best Picture. The Exorcist Believer sees the return of Ellen Bernstein as Chris McNeil, an actor who has been forever altered by paranormal event that plagued her daughter Regan decades ago. Now, the story picks up as 2 local girls escape into the woods only to return 3 days later with no memories of the episode. This unleashes a horrific chain of events, forcing the father of one of the girls to seek out McNeil, the only living person who has experienced anything like it before. Now, the new cast includes Leslie Odom Jr., Ann Dowd, Jennifer Nettles, like singer Jennifer Nettles? Norbert Leo Butts, and newcomers Lydia Jewett and Olivia Markham as the pair of the possessed pre-teens. Exorcist Believer cost about $30 million and is well positioned at the box office despite the SAG strike that's preventing its actors from promoting the films. David Gordon Green, who revived the Halloween franchise with Jamie Lee Curtis, is behind this one and is hoping to do the same thing with The Exorcist. This entry is actually the first of a planned trilogy, with the next sequel already set for April 18th of 2025. So there you go. I was a huge fan of The Exorcist, but it scared the ever-living shit out of me. Linda Blair's head twisting around and that fucking oh shit. So I'm in on this. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna see what it's all about. For sure.
Oh, for sure, man, for sure. And I mean, we mentioned Taylor Swift's document or concert film. I'm just gonna put this out there. I'm not saying it will happen, but I think it has the potential to have the biggest opening weekend. I think it
Of
might.
all
I
time?
Of all time. I think it really might. I mean, if anybody could take down Endgame, it could be Swift. I'm just saying.
I do
I
think.
I
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, I just really think her fans are that loyal and would keep going back to see it multiple times. So I think it's a possibility.
I mean, I don't discount that. I don't think it'll take the record for the biggest of all time ever. No doubt it's gonna dethrone Bieber, and it's gonna be and Hamilton. It's gonna be the biggest opening musical concert type movie ever. There's no doubt about that. And I think it will definitely land in maybe the top five of all-time openings ever. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be but you're right. People love her, and we're about to have a story to tell you how much people fucking love her in just a minute.
Exactly, exactly. Well, the summer has been consisted of Suits. And
Yes.
this has continued past Labor Day as the legal drama has set the streaming chart record for most weeks at number one at the overall title. The former USA series, which streams on Netflix and Peacock now, spent its 12th consecutive week at the top of the Nelson's ratings, which which go back 3 years actually. It had 2.36 billion minutes viewed for the week of September 4th through the 10th, falling by only 4% from the previous week. Now, Suits' 12th week at number one overall broke a tie with Netflix's Ozark, which had 11 weeks at number one over several seasons. So that's very exciting. But as we've been talking about multiple weeks on the show, it's just a great freaking episodic series, man. You should definitely check it out if you haven't yet. It needs to come back. Come on,
Oh,
it needs to come back.
it totally does. It is one of the best series ever done for television. Huge kudos to Aaron Korsh for creating it and doing it. I'm OG. I was there when it was on USA. I was there from the beginning, and I got to give credit where credit is due. I hadn't heard of the show. When I say I was OG, I was maybe 3 or 4 episodes behind when it first launched. Scott Ford, phenomenally intelligent man who knows his shit. Great guy. He said, "Have you caught Suits yet?" And I'm like, "No, what the hell is Suits?" And he told me, and so I jumped on, and holy shit, the rest is history. It's like one of the greatest shows ever. I am not surprised at all that it is just slaying on streaming, because the second you find it and watch it, you're hooked. I mean, you can't stop watching it. So it's just, yeah, could not be happier. All right, now let's talk about the T-Swift effect, all right? Additionally, NBC has outperformed other networks, okay, in total viewers. What am I talking about? NBC won the premiere week for the 12th consecutive year in the coveted 18 to 49 demographic. They finished out premiere week with an average of 1.3 rating in the key demo. Now, this is the crazy thing, or what it outperformed other networks in total viewers with 6.8 million viewers for the week, their 5th year in a row at the number one position. For the week of September 25th through October 1st, NBC's viewership increased by 13% compared to last year. The highest increase measured up against competing networks ABC, CBS, Fox, and the CW. ABC and the CW also experienced slight increases of at least 1% respectively. Now, what led to those huge ratings? What led to the big win? A couple of things. This one, hugely, the T-Swift effect. The airing of Sunday Night Football on NBC ranked number one in weekly primetime rankings with 24.8 million viewers watching the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Jets game held at New Jersey's MetLife Stadium. Why? T-Swift. Taylor Swift, who is rumored to be dating Kansas City tight end Travis Kelce, appeared at the last Chiefs game in Kansas City. The NFL has experienced significant increase in ratings. The latest episode of NBC's The Singing Competition show The Voice also ranked among the top 15 shows this past week, with Monday and Tuesday's episodes tying at number 15 alongside WWE SmackDown. NBC additionally had 6 other shows placed in the top 12, including America's Got Talent. Now, 2 new shows, the new police procedural The Irrational premiered on September 25th with 5.5 million viewers, NBC's most watched drama since 2021. Check that out. And NBC has also debuted their original scripted content this season, including Found, which dropped on October 3rd, just this week. Returning series Quantum Leap on October 4th, Magnum PI on October 4th, and Transplant coming up on October 12th. So they benefited from T-Swift and the fact that they actually had new shows to put out. Like I said, I watched The Irrational and I watched Found. Both of them were outstanding. I really enjoyed both of them. I think they're both have the potential to be really solid hits. My personal opinion, I think they should play them back to back on the same night. I'm just putting that out there. I know they were on separate nights. They're not, but I think the combination of the two back to back would be huge. So if they can find a way to do that, I'm putting that out there for NBC to pay attention. They don't pay attention to me, but you should pay attention to me. Put these shows together. Anyway,
speaking it into fruition.
That's right.
But yeah, man, it's hard for me to jump on new shows now because I'm worried that everything's going to get canceled. So I'm just going back and watching The Wire and One Tree Hill and like all of these other ones. I'm like,
you should give these a chance though. They're really good. At least Found with Shinola. It's really good. And Mark Paul Gosselaar is a bad guy. It's good shit.
For sure, man. For sure. Well, 8 of Wolf's Entertainment and Universal Television writer rooms are opening this week following the end of the writer's strike. Additionally, the 2 new showrunners have been named for Chicago Fire Season 12 will be run by Andrea Newman, formerly co-showrunner with Derek Haas, and FBI International Season 3 will be run by executive producer Matt Olstead. Haas has co-created Chicago Fire and has previously showrunned for FBI International as well. He exited Wolf Entertainment last November after 10 years, while season 3 of Law and Order Organized Crime was first run by Sean Jablowski. Then later SVU showrunner David Gresno. The team is searching for a new season 4 showrunner. This will be the show's 6th showrunner, as well as Barry O'Brien. Brian Gaboff and Eileen Chakin previously held the title. Now, the spinoff has not yet set a date to return to the writer's room. Now, Ed Ide will return as showrunner for Law & Order, while Grazno will return for Law & Order SVU. Now, Chicago PD will be run by Gwen Segan, and Chicago Med will be run by Diane Forlov. And Andrew Schneider, FBI showrunner, is Rick Ide, while David Hudgens head up FBI's Most Wanted. The Law & Order series and the 3-1 Chicago series are produced by Wolf Entertainment and Universal Television, of course. Now, the 3 FBI shows are produced by Wolf Entertainment, Universal Television, and CBS Studios. Now, On Call, produced by Wolf Entertainment, Universal Television, and Amazon Studios. Now, Shutdown is expected to return filming after the SAG-AFTRA strike. I know that was a lot, but man, oh man, Dick Wolf runs everything.
No,
That's really all you need to know.
Listen, I just want to put my name in the ring to be the showrunner for Organized Crime. Anybody who knows me knows I am an original, long-time Law and Order junkie. My fucking, voice recorder, my messaging machine, answering machine was that. It was like I'm addicted to these shows. I think Chris Maloney is fantastic. I love the show. I love Organized Crime. I hate that they've given it a reduced number of episodes for the coming season. I think that is because of all the problems with the showrunners. I mean, come on, 6? What the fuck is going on there? I'll do it. I'll do it. I love the franchise. I love the characters. I love the actors. Just bring me on, Dick. Okay? Bring me on. I got
I
you.
mean, I only have one question. That's the biggest thing. What is an answering machine? That's the biggest question. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
That's
I have no idea what that
pre-voicemail.
is.
That's
Yeah.
pre-voicemail. That's what they used to
Okay.
leave messages on when you weren't
Yeah,
home, when you weren't
for sure.
available. Okay.
There it
They
is.
had this
There it
thing
is.
called a tape that went into it. Then they converted to digital, but
Mm,
yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah. You know who else is coming back? Kelly Clarkson. Yes,
Mm.
I'm excited for it. After a cross country move from LA to NYC and surviving the writer's strike, the Kelly Clarkson Show will return with its fifth season on October 16th, so just a couple weeks away. Clarkson's talk show will film in Studio 6A in 30 Rock, and if you're a huge talk show fan, you know that was previously the home to Late Night with David Letterman, Conan O'Brien, and Jimmy Fallon. Now, ahead of its October 16th premiere, the Kelly Clarkson Show will begin filming on October 10th in its new state-of-the-art studio, which is said to have had a relaxed and intimate vibe, a prominent platform for her house band, and 200 seats to welcome fans to participate in a live in-studio experience. The talk show had previously been in pre-production while its new set was being built in New York. For the past 4 seasons, of course, the Kelly Clarkson Show filmed at the Universal lot in Los Angeles, California. Over the summer, the Kelly Clarkson Show moved from Universal lot to 30 Rock. So, yeah, I'm excited. I really like the Kelly Clarkson Show. I love how she opens it up with doing the songs, and her interviewing is much like ours. It's very relaxed and just a conversation, and they have fun. Good for her. I'm excited to see when it comes back, and I know she's just gonna kill it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I love how, they mentioned a couple of other late night hosts. I love how they all came back this past week and they thanked the writers.
Oh yeah.
They were very respectful. So I love to see that. I love to see credit where credit is due and being able to get a fair wage because that's just so
I
important.
did see too. We
Um,
didn't have this in there, but the 3 head writers for the Drew Barrymore show, who were all WGA writers,
they said,
said
fuck
fuck
you.
off. Yeah, they
Yeah.
did not come back. Drew Barrymore's show is also coming back, but her head writers did not. They
Yeah.
so they were like, fuck off, Drew. We're gonna go try
Yeah.
to find work somewhere else.
Yeah.
And good for them. I mean, she totally
Yeah.
disrespected them by what she was trying to do. And that is the cost. And good for them. They're gonna land on a show that respects writers, and they're gonna
Mhm.
appreciate it and be the better for it, in my opinion.
Agreed, man. Agreed. Well, what else have we been missing from NBC? Oh, yeah, SNL. Well, they are ready to open up for the 49th season of
Whoa.
Saturday Night Live. But it does be pushed. It is going to be pushed back just a week or two from when the series might normally launch in the fall. After being shut down in May by the Hollywood writers' strike, SNL will return on October 14th, marking the first 3 executive weeks for original broadcasts.
Mm.
Now, NBC said in an announcement on Wednesday that Ice Spice will serve as the musical desk, and the one and only Pete Davidson has been scheduled to host the show last season before the strike was forced to go on strike. Of course, SNL will go went dark. Bad Bunny will host to perform on October 21st. The entire cast is set to return with a single odd addition, who is Chloe Trost, who will perform with the writer trio that makes up SNL's Please Don't Destroy. Joins as a featured player,
Hmm.
so that's exciting for her.
Yeah.
NBC did not say whether any of the current group or featured players, which include Sarah Sherman and James Austin Johnson, has been promoted to the main cast. While SAG-AFTRA has not yet settled the strike with the big studios, the union said SNL cast members may return to production. Now, SAG-AFTRA members appearing on Saturday Night Live, either as host, guests, or cast members, are working under the network code agreement, which is not a contract they are striking. But I mean, just me, I'm just saying James Austin Johnson should definitely come back. He's got a pretty cool name. So I would definitely recommend him to Lauren. So yeah.
Yeah, it's odd that they're just bringing, making one person a regular, because it is normally the featured players that get bumped up to the cast regulars,
Right.
and to not announce that any of them have been bumped up is interesting. So we'll see. Of course, they could be saving it. Next year is going to be the biggie, right? Season 50. What's going to happen? Is that going to be it? Is Lauren going to take it to 50 and end it after 50 years? That'd be interesting, right? There's long
It
been
would
talk
be.
of that. So, all right, let's jump on over to Sony. Guys, we actually had quite a bit of Sony news and none of it Spider-Man. What?
Wow.
Wow,
Wow.
yeah. We don't see that very often either. Sony Pictures Classics has nabbed the North American rights to Minyao Boggs' We Grown Now, which stars and is executive produced by Journey Smollett. Now, Bag, whose debut film Holla premiered at Sundance in 2019, brought We Grown Now to Toronto for a world debut. Domestically, Sony Pictures Classics will release the film in partnership with Stage 6 Films, while Sony Pictures Releasing International will handle the international rollout. I could not be more delighted to have found a home for We Grown Now with Sony Pictures Classics, is what she said. We Grown Now is a film that captures the tender moments of childhood resilience and the power of human connection in the face of adversity. The coming-of-age story follows Malik and Eric, best friends played by newcomers Blake Cameron, James, and Gian Knight Ramirez, as they face changes to their community in Chicago's misunderstood Cabrini Green housing complex. S. Epatha Merkinson, Law and Order, Smollett, and Lil Ray Howard also star alongside Cameron James and Ramirez in the 1992 set drama. That sounds interesting. Sounds like it's going to be pretty good.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I mean, that's a great cast, and I love Little Rel Howery. So I just think it's gonna be pretty decent, which is good because we need more original content out there, as
Yeah,
we've been talking about before. A lot of reboots. We're in the time of reboots and remakes, so it's good to see. It's good to see.
it is.
Well, A24 has released the official trailer for its upcoming Sofia Coppola feature Priscilla. The film is based on Priscilla Presley's 1985 memoir Elvis and Me, which details personal accounts of her relationship with the one and only king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. Flashes of their first meeting in Bad Nauheim, Germany, in 1959 to their 1967 Las Vegas wedding and birth of their daughter, the one and only late Lisa Marie. Are teased throughout, and the new footage looks very interesting because the trailer spotlights some of the couple's most iconic moments together, as well as their eventual divorce, of course. Priscilla stars Kaylee Spaney in the title role, and Jacob Elbrany from Euphoria, for people who don't know, as the king of rock and roll. Now, Priscilla received a 7-minute standing ovation at this year's Venice Film Festival. Coppola and Priscilla attended the premiere alongside Spaney and Elberty, as well as actors were granted a SAG-AFTRA interim agreement to promote the film amid the strike, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't make or it also makes sense because A24 operates a little independently.
Right, right.
Now, Spaney won Best Actress prize. That's very exciting for that festival. Now, A24 will release Priscilla in North America with Stage 6 Films / Sony International releasing will distribute in the rest of the world. Priscilla is set to release in theaters on November 3rd, right around the corner. I thought this was very interesting because I thought they were trying to capitalize on the success of Elvis and Austin Butler. But I don't know. Are people interested in Priscilla's
Well,
story?
this is going to
That's the
be
question.
so. Listen, Elvis and Me, when that came out, was massively controversial, and she
Oh,
took some heat for it. Um,
hmm.
this is going to be in stark contrast to the Elvis movie, where they basically portrayed him very well and made Colonel Parker the bad guy. This
Oh
movie will
shit.
not. Elvis and Me, the book, it goes into great detail about his drug abuse, and when he raped her.
Oof.
And she did not paint him always in a great picture in this book. So if this film holds true to that, we're going to see some dark side of Elvis as well. It did not go over well in 1985. I don't know how it's going to go over now in 2023. Do people want to see the dark side of Elvis? But I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah, in today's culture, I'm sure it will still not go over well.
Yeah.
It'll go over like in a popular sense to where people are going to be like, fuck Elvis. But yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Oh, it's definitely going to. But I mean, facts are facts. This did happen. He never denied it. He didn't. So, and that's her story. I guess we have the right to hear her story too. So
we do.
And Sofia Coppola is a brilliant director. She's a great. I mean, it runs in the family. She's phenomenal. So I think it's going to be a really good film. How it does is yet to be seen, but I think it's going to be a good film. This is exciting. Movies are back on PlayStation. Although they're all titles now from corporate cousin Sony Pictures. More than 2 years ago, as you guys know, PlayStation shut down its service offering movie and TV show purchases and rentals. At that time, Sony Interactive Entertainment explained that it was making the move because it was seeing a growing number of PlayStation users shifting to free and subscription streaming video services. Now Sony has decided to bring back movies to the gaming console in partnership with its own studio arm. On Thursday, Sony Interactive Entertainment launched the Sony Pictures Core app on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 consoles. A key selling point, the app lets you stream HDR movies at up to 80 megabits per second, which Sony says provides picture quality similar to 4K UHD Blu-ray, and includes a large collection of IMAX-enhanced titles. Sony Pictures Core offers up to 2,000 movies from Sony Pictures available to rent or buy. At launch, I said it didn't include Spider-Man, but it kind of sort of does. At the launch, that will include Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man No Way Home, Uncharted, so basically anything with Tom Holland in it.
Basically.
The Equalizer, No Hard Feelings, Bullet Train, and Ghostbusters Afterlife. In addition, PlayStation Plus Premium/Deluxe members will get access to a curated catalog of 100 movies through the Sony Pictures Core app to stream on demand from Sony's Pictures library for no extra charge. Now that catalog, which will be ad-free and updated periodically, features movies such as Looper, Kingsglaive, Final Fantasy, Elysium, and Resident Evil Damnation. So there you go. That's exciting,
It is, though. It is, because, I mean, these consoles become more and more like, Roku services and Amazon Fire Sticks every day. So, I mean, if they want to try to dabble a little bit in that competition, I feel like it's necessary for you to have these things on your console. So that just makes sense, man. That just makes sense.
For sure.
Lionsgate. Starz has officially ordered The Hunting Wives 2 series with 8 episodes. Now, based on a May Cobb's best-selling novel of the same name, the story follows Sophie O'Neill and her family as they pick up things and move far from the East Coast and head down to the Southeast Texas. What a fucking culture shock. As she is introduced to socialite Margot Banks, Sophie falls prey to Margot's irresistible charms and soon winds up consumed by obsession, seduction, and murder. The Hunting Wives is executive produced by Rebecca Cutter from Hightown, who will write and serve as showrunner, and Erwin Stoff, the Serpent Queen from the Serpent Queen, for 3 Arts Entertainment. So that one actually sounds pretty interesting. It kind of reminds me of Candy a little bit. But yeah, I feel like no, I don't feel like, because I'm still mad that they canceled Heels. I'm just saying.
That's what I was just going to say. This is what we canceled Heels for? This? Are we kidding right now? I was trying to
come to their defense, but then I was like, you know what? No. Screw you.
No. Heels, infinitely better than that. Like, I'm just saying. Please, Peacock, pick that show up. I swear, that show needs to be on somewhere. And if it's not, I'm gonna be upset. I can't believe this is what they chose over it. Like, not dogging this. I haven't seen it. I don't know. Maybe it's good. Maybe it isn't. But It just doesn't seem like it's a valid replacement for heels. That's all I'm saying.
Just saying.
All right, let's go over to Amazon MGM, which now is called Amazon MGM Studios. Yes, they changed the name. Interesting. Just going to throw that out there. In the trailer for the upcoming Prime Video reality series 007 Road to a Million, the one and only Brian Cox controls the fate of 9 pairs of wannabe James Bonds as they take on challenges inspired by the iconic spy for a chance to win $1.2 million. I put real people into James Bond adventures to win $1 million, Cox says in the clip, which released to mark James Bond Day as the franchise's theme song played in the background. Now, the only thing standing in their way is me. The trailer teases some of the challenges the contestants are put through, including climbing a crane, balancing atop a moving train, and driving an Aston Martin down winding hills. Now, in the series, Succession star Cox acts as the controller, the on-screen mastermind behind the game who dictates where the pairs go, what they must do, and sets their questions. He monitors each pair's quest, delighting in the unfolding drama of his intricately devised and often relentless challenge, according to the show's plot description. Now, as the controller, Cox has hidden 10 questions around the world for each pair of contestants. The answer to each question is only found upon the completion of the Bond-esque tasks that will put their to the test physical and mental strengths. It answered correctly, the pair keeps the cash and continues to the next. One wrong move and their adventure is over. Now, this is hailing from producers of the James Bond franchise. 007 Road to Million will launch on Prime Video in over 240 countries and territories on November 10th. So this is like The Amazing Race with a James Bond twist.
Yeah, right?
Basically, right? Like, I mean, that's what it sounds like.
That is what it sounds like.
But Brian Cox is a badass, so, go for it.
Yeah, exactly. And I am very excited to, we've been hearing rumblings. Who knows if it's true or not, but Christopher Nolan potentially going to a James Bond franchise. That would be pretty epic. I would love to see that happen. But like I said, just rumors right now. We don't know anything.
Could you see one or two people, if he jumps to the James Bond franchise and it's either Henry Cavill, who I hear auditioned and slayed, or Idris Elba? If you give me Christopher Nolan with either or of them being the new James Bond, I would be all fucking in. I think that would be phenomenal. I'm just saying. Although Idris stepped away, so it's probably going to be Henry Cavill if anybody. And can we just say quickly before we jump to Netflix, kudos to Idris Elba, because he recognized this industry is not always friendly, and if you start believing the hype, especially when you start to reach the level that Idris has, and you start buying into the game that you're better than everybody and that you deserve things that people probably don't deserve, you can start getting in trouble. And he recognized that he was starting to fall into that behavior and doing some bad things that aren't him. And he decided to step away and get help. He's actually in therapy and getting some help because he realized that he was not the person that he knows he is. So kudos to him, man. To be able to recognize I'm starting to buy into the bullshit and I got to step away from that because that's not me. That takes a lot of courage to own up to that and say that and to try to retreat and go back to being the man that you are. So kudos to him, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Well, heading over to Netflix, they are gearing up to raise prices once again without advertising a few months after the SAG-AFTRA strike has been resolved. The streaming service is discussing raising prices in several markets globally and likely will first increase fees in the United States and Canada. According to Wall Street Journal report, citing anonymous sources, of course, the journal did not have any info on what Netflix's new prices will be or when they will go into effect. Netflix most recently increased prices for the US and other major markets in the first half of 2022. So that's crazy. That's not even that long ago, guys. What's going on?
They're all coming. They're all raising prices. I mean, they're all in need for it because the streamers are expensive. I mean, that's just the way it is. They didn't plan properly. So we have to pay for that shit because they didn't plan properly. We have to pay for it, which, it is what it is. Speaking of, these streamers, they're hurting so bad. They don't have the money to pay the writers and the actors. What are you doing? You're so mean and unfair. Yeah, they don't have the money, but they can spend $20 million, apparently. Chloe Dumont's feature directorial debut, Fair Play, rocked the Sundance Film Festival at the start of the year, where it earned critical acclaim and apparently sold to Netflix in a massive $20 million deal, but they don't have no money. Bridgerton breakout Phoebe Denivier and Alden Ehrenreich play co-workers at a hedge fund who are in a secret relationship. Their bond is tested as Denivier's career takes off, much to the disgruntlement of Ehrenreich's struggling finance bro. The film has been called a very smart finance drama set inside the cutthroat New York hedge fund, but it's also a romantic thriller that takes a probing look at sexual passion and sexual politics in the post-Me Too age. It's one of the rare Sundance movies that could break through into the real world. We talked about this on the show several months back, so now we know who got it, Netflix, and we know how much they paid for it. So there you go.
Exactly. But again, they don't have any money.
They don't have any money, just $20 million,
This next one is very interesting because I know a lot of animated fans are going to be excited about it. Castlevania Nocturne has been renewed for season 2 at Netflix. The news comes just over a week since the debut of the show's first season, which launched on Netflix September 28th. The series is based on the beloved Konami Castlevania game series. Now, Nocturne serves as a follow-up to Netflix's formal Castlevania series, taking place 300 years after the events of the original show. The official synopsis of Nocturne states, France in 1792, the height of the French Revolution, and in a remote part of the Western France, the counter-revolutionary artistry has forged an alliance with a terrifying vampire messiah who promises to eat the sun and unleash an army of vampires and night creatures to crush the revolution and enslave humanity. Now, Annette, a sorceress from the Caribbean, seeks out Retcher Belmont, the last descendant of a long-fabled family of vampire hunters, to lead is resistance. So that sounds very interesting. I mean, everybody loves when people do period pieces, especially when it comes to anime. So I think that's going to be very popular.
Yeah, I think so. Everybody loves vampires, man. It's just like, that's how they do it. I mean, except for me, I didn't like a particular set of vampires. We'll get to that later. Hey, how's a weekend away in a luxurious Long Island home sound? Quite idyllic, right? Until the apocalyptic doom starts. Netflix has released the trailer for its new thriller, Leave the World Behind, executive produced by, get this, guys, Barack and Michelle Obama. What? They produced a movie about an apocalyptic doom? Oh, I love that. The movie stars Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke. This gets even better. That's fantastic. As a couple who book a weekend getaway with their children. Now, in the middle of the night, the owner of the home, played by Marsala Ali, I am all in on this bad boy. He shows up apparently to seek refuge with his daughter, played by Mahila Harold. Now, it is unclear what exactly is happening to the world, but the film is more concerned with what's happening inside the home. Will the two families work together to survive or instead turn against one another? Kevin Bacon also stars in The Conspiracy-Obsessed Construction Worker, in addition to Farrah McKenzie and Charlie Evans as Roberts and Hawke's children. Leave the World Behind is the first fictional movie executive produced by the Obamas' banner, Higher Ground Productions, having previously focused on children's programs, documentaries, and historical dramas. Director Sam Esmail, creator of Mr. Robot, adapted the screenplay. Former President Obama placed Alam's novel on his 2021 summer reading list. Having gone through the pandemic and then the take your pick of any number of other disaster-related events like climate change and the heat wave that we just experienced over the summer, it is the unknown and the fear of it that we try to capture in this film, Esmail told a source. Leave the World Behind opens on November 22nd before debuting on Netflix on December 8th. That is a fucking phenomenal cast, a phenomenal director, and the story sounds cool. So, I mean, Kevin
All
Bacon,
in.
Marcella Ali, Julia Roberts, and Ethan Hawke. Are you fucking kidding me? That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, right. It is really cool. I like to see that they're branching out too. That's a very
Yes.
interesting concept. Well, Netflix has acquired the worldwide rights to His Three Daughters, starring Natasha Lyonne, Elizabeth Olsen, and Carrie Coon.
Wow.
Now, following its world premiere at the Toronto Film Festival, Netflix had no comments on the terms of the deal, which was reported to be just under $7 million. Now, written, directed, and edited by Azel Jacobs, the film presents a tense, captivating, and touching portrait of family dynamics with Leon, Olsen, and Kuhn starring as the sisters who converge after their father's health declines. So that sounds very interesting. Great cast. I mean, you know, I could take or leave Natasha Lyonne, but Elizabeth Olsen, we love Lizzie.
Yeah.
So I mean, definitely gonna watch it.
Oh hell yeah! Anything with Lizzie in it, I'll watch. So, man, are you keeping track, guys and gals? $27 million for 2 projects. $27 million. Keeping track. They don't have any money. Just saying. $27 million. One woman's voice could be the light that a war-torn nation needs in the first trailer for All the Light We Cannot See. Netflix's limited series adaptation of the best-selling Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Anthony Doerr. Set during World War II, the story follows a blind French teenager, Marie-Laurie Leblanc, who escapes from German-occupied Paris with her father, Daniel Leblanc, played by Mark Ruffalo. The two have a legendary stone in their possession that they must keep from falling into the hands of the Nazi looters. The pair seeks shelter with Marie-Laurie's uncle, Etienne Leblanc, played by Hugh Laurie, in Saint Malo, France. Etienne belongs to the French resistance and records secret radio broadcasts. Now, the first trailer sees Marie-Laurie become a pivotal voice for her uncle's war efforts. Her words make the target of the Nazis. The limited series will release on November 2nd on Netflix. I will say this for them. We have our up and downs with Netflix. We have some issues with Netflix, but they got some good fucking people in their projects. I mean, those are all great casts.
Stuff in the can, man. They really do. So, I mean, that's good though, because I feel like the past couple years, Netflix has shows here or there, but nothing really like steady on it. So we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes. Well, heading over to Apple, we're taking a bite out of it. The bloody 100th fly again in the Masters of Air. Apple TV Plus Thursday revealed the first look at the highly anticipated action-packed limited series from executive producer Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, and Gary Gutzman from HBO's Band of Brothers and The Pacific. Now, the series, which also stars Oscar nominee Austin Butler, Callum Turner, Anthony Boyle, Nate Mann, and Oscar nominee Barry Keoghan, also received global premiere dates for Friday, January 26th of 2024. The 9-episode limited series will premiere on Apple TV Plus with 2 episodes, followed by 1 new episode every Friday through March 15th. Now, based on Donald L. Miller's book of the same name and written by John Orloff from the Band of Brothers, Master of Air follows the men of the 100th Bomb Group as they conduct perilous bombing raids over Nazi Germany and grapple with the frigid conditions, lack of oxygen, and sheer terror of combat conducted at the 25,000 feet in the air. Now, portraying the psychological and emotional price paid by these young men as they help destroy the horror of Hitler's Third Reich is at the heart of Masters of Air. Now, some were shot down and captured, some were wounded or killed, and some were quickly or very lucky enough to make it back home. Now, regardless of individual fate, a toll was extracted from all of them, ranging in location from bullock fields and villages of southeast England to the harsh deprivations of German prisoner war camps, and depicting a unique and crucial time in the world's history. Now, Master of the Air is enormous in both scale and scope, and the genuine cinematic achievement, according to Apple Studios. Now, Spielberg serves as an executive producer for Amblin Television, and Hanks and Gutman for Platoon. I'm very excited about this thing. It sounds absolutely amazing. And with the amount of people attached, producing and starring, I think it's going to be freaking badass. And Tom Hanks has really taken Austin Butler under his wing since Elvis, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And listen, anytime that Spielberg and Hanks get together to tell any war story from World War II, it's a
Solid.
Band of Brothers,
Solid.
huge hit. Saving Private Ryan, huge hit. I mean, they know how to tell the stories of World War II. So yeah, I'm all in on this, you know. And what's interesting is that they're telling it from all different areas, right? We saw the storming of the beaches of Normandy in Saving Private Ryan. We saw in Band of Brothers the ground troops and what it was like to be on the ground in there. Greyhound saw, you know, the Navy ships, and now we're gonna see it from the air. You know, they're really going and iconically telling this World War II story, and I really love that they're doing that. And if for anybody who doesn't know, they were behind the opening of the World War II Museum in New Orleans. They were there for the opening of it. They donated a ton of money for it. They were the pushing factor behind getting that thing opened. So they're all in on this, and so I think it's going to be really good. This one I'm not so sure about, though. We've talked about this a couple times on the show in the past, and we're getting some more information about it. I'm just not sure. Apple TV Plus has released the trailer for The Buccaneers, a new drama series based on Edith Wharton's unfinished novel. Now, The Buccaneers will debut its first 3 episodes on November 8th, followed by the release of new episodes weekly every Wednesday through December 13th. Olivia Rodrigo's All-American Bitch plays throughout the trailer as a group of carefree, fun-loving American girls enter the tightly corseted London season of the 1870s, according to the release. Now, an Anglo-American culture clash ensues due to the girls' refreshing disregard for centuries of tradition. The Buccaneers' hearts are set on much more than just securing husbands and titles. Saying "I do" is just the beginning. The Buccaneers will feature songs from today's top female performers, including Taylor Swift, Boy Genius, Maggie Rogers, Bikini Kill, Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Angel Olsen, and Brandi Carlile, among others. The Buccaneers stars Christine Froseth, Alice Beau, Josie Tota, Aubrey Ibrag, Imogen Waterhouse, Christina Hendricks, and Mia Tripleton. So one name I recognize out of all those, I hate to say. The ensemble cast also includes Josh Dillon, Guy Ramirez, Matthew Broom, and Barney Fishwick. The series is led by an all-female creative team, also written by creator Catherine Jakeways and directed by Susanna White. So, we'll see.
Yeah, man. I mean, we normally talk about how Apple is really good with quality over quantity, but yeah, that one, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a selective audience one. That's
I think
for
so.
sure. Yeah. Well, that's not it for Apple TV Plus, because they have revealed the first look images for its new crime thriller, Criminal Record.
Yes.
Now, the 8-episode series starring Peter Capaldi and Kush Jumbo will debut its first 2 episodes on January 12th, and then release episodes every Friday through February 23rd. Now, from Paul Ruttman, Criminal Records follows Capaldi and Jumbo as detectives involved in a tug of war over a high-profile murder case. Now, how do you say that?
I would say Capaldi.
Capaldi portrays as well-connected man determined to protect his legacy, while Jumbo plays a young man in the early stages of his or young woman or at the early stages of her career. Set in London, the two are forced into a confrontation over an old murder case after an anonymous phone call. The series explores issues of race, institutional failure, and the quest to find a common ground in polarized Britain. So that one sounds interesting, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Kush Jumbo. She's phenomenal and by no means could ever be mistaken for a man. She is quite beautiful. But I was a huge fan. She was on The Good Fight. That's where I first saw her, and I've seen her in some other things. She's just fun. So I'm going to give this one a watch. Anytime I find somebody that I'm really a fan of their acting skills and their work, I'm going to give it a shot, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
For sure, man. For sure. All right. Now it is time for the top 5 segment, man. And this week was very interesting because we love movies. We love a lot of movies. And this week it is top 5 least favorite movies, which was very interesting.
Yes. This was difficult because, like you said, I mean, you know, we love movies and I try not to hate any of them. But
right,
this one was difficult. So
yeah,
and it was more difficult to try to leave off superhero movies because, as you guys know, I mean, any of my least favorite superhero movies could have been on this list easily. So
what we should do is because we don't want to be negative Nancy's now, we should point out a positive aspect for each of these movies that so it's not as like hardcore, you know.
Maybe I can find something.
I challenge us. So that'll be interesting. Well, number 5 for me goes to After Earth. If you don't know about this one, this was Will and Jaden Smith's first, or no, this is not their first movie together because they did Pursuit of Happiness, but this was another movie that they did together. It was very interesting, obviously set in a sci-fi world. I don't remember if they came back to Earth to see if it was livable or if they just crash landed on another planet to see, you know, like they crash landed on another planet and then they were trying to get out of there. And of course, we're defeating the odds of the planet, whether that be the animals, the nature, all that stuff. You know, sounds like it could be a good premise. Well, not really, because their whole dynamic during the film was not really good. I mean, it was one of those where it was like father, son, the son can never live up to the dad's expectations and never really like treats him well. And I didn't really like how, spoiler alert, and since they're on our list, don't really watch any of these films. But if you have watched these films, let us know if you like them or not. But spoiler alert, Will Smith doesn't even really leave the ship. He stays on the ship the entire time, just telling Jaden where to go, which I thought was very boring. And just this whole thing, like, it could have been so much better, but it wasn't entertaining. But my positive antidote to this one was the CGI was very cool, and I felt like it was very advanced for that time period because the animals that they had to fight and the creatures looked pretty cool. And I liked the jumpsuits that they had on for their costume design. But other than that, the storytelling just was not that great. It wasn't a good script. That's really what I didn't like about it. So yeah, After Earth.
There you go. I can't argue with any of that. I didn't like that movie either. My number 5 takes me all the way back to yesteryear. I was a wee 12 years old, and I snuck into this film, and I'm glad that I did because this is the first film that I ever walked out on. Like, did not sit to finish it, even though I didn't pay for the ticket, so I didn't care if I walked out on it. Tootsie. Now, this one usually gets really high acclaim. Everybody seems to love this movie. I fucking hated it. I still hate it. I tried to go back and say I was 12. Maybe I didn't get it. Maybe it was just above me at that point. Maybe I wasn't old enough to understand it. No, I have gone back and tried to watch it several times as an adult, and I still fucking hate it. This movie has Dustin Hoffman. He's basically, the story is he's a failed actor, and he's trying to make a comeback. And they have this role as like this trashy person on this soap opera. The problem is that the role is for a woman. So he dresses as a woman to get the role in this trashy soap opera. It sucked. It just sucked. And it's bad because it had Jessica Lange and Terry Garr and freaking Dabney Coleman and like this phenomenal cast. I mean, Dustin fucking Hoffman, okay? I just couldn't get it, man. I think my positive is it had a great cast. I just didn't like the story. I didn't like I think it was... We've seen it. We've seen it over and over. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, right? We had Peter Scolari and Tom Hanks dress as women in Booze and Buddies. We had Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire. We've seen this work. And this one just did not work for me. I didn't buy Hoffman as a woman ever. Like, I couldn't. I walked out on it. I walked out on it at 12 and I walked out on it by turning it off in my 20s, my 30s, and my 40s, and like I can't finish the movie. I don't like it. So my number 5, Tootsie.
Sure.
See it if you want to. Tootsie. I'd rather have a Tootsie roll than to watch Tootsie again. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. It's just like, wasn't good. Maybe if I had some Tootsie rolls, it would have been better. I don't know. Like,
right. Exactly. Well, number 4 for me goes to a Tom Cruise film called Oblivion. I just was not a fan of this one. And if you don't know, I mean, he's a veteran assigned to extract Earth's remaining resources and begins to question what he knows about his mission and himself. So basically a post-apocalyptic movie where this guy is just on the planet trying to figure out the rest of the resources so he can bring it back to humanity.
Yes.
You would think this would be a great movie because you have Tom Cruise, you have Morgan Freeman, you have Andrea Riseborough, you have old boy from Game of Thrones, Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, who played fucking one of the Lannisters, the incest Lannisters.
Yeah.
But I just, I was very disappointed because like there's a few action scenes here or there, but it is very slow. It is very bad pacing. And you all know I'm a very big on pacing, but I fell asleep in this movie. I couldn't get into it. It wasn't my favorite. I guess the one positive takeaway I could take from it was the color tone, because it wasn't really necessary all the yellow hue or the blue hue. It was very like, it was white. It was almost like it was black and white without being black and white. I mean, I guess it leaned more towards the blue, but at the same time, I thought it was beautiful cinematically, but even that couldn't keep me awake. So number 4 was Oblivion with Tom Cruise.
There you go. All right. My number 4, and I feel bad because I have this gentleman on my list twice, but it is what it is. My number 4, and I was all in on this. I was all in because, like you, I am a fan of mafia stuff and organized crime, as we discussed earlier with Law and Order and everything. I was like, okay. And this was my guy, the 80s, right? The Teflon Don, John Gotti himself, right? The guy who kept getting away with it all, just couldn't make things stick. John Travolta is going to play Gotti. I was like, okay, John Travolta playing Gotti, I'm okay with that. You know, his wife stars in it with him, Kelly Preston. If I'm not mistaken, it might be their last movie that they ever did together prior to her passing away. So even more so, right? And then my man, Kevin Connolly, himself from Entourage, is the director, right? Making his directorial debut. I'm like, this has to be good. It was god fucking awful. It was horrible. John Travolta, it's the worst acting I've ever seen in my life. And he's a great actor. It was... I don't know what was wrong. I just felt like he dialed it in from start to finish. Like he just... I don't know whether something happened and he was contractually obligated to do this film for the studio or whatever. But he was not feeling it. He was not. It just was not good. The timing was bad. The pacing was bad. It wasn't a great script. It was just, when your lead character is a bad actor in the film, everybody else just kind of falls victim to that. And I felt like that's what happened. He just dialed it in, and everybody else kind of just followed suit and dialed it in. And I felt so bad because it was so bad, and I was rooting for Connolly's directorial debut to be really good. And look, I mean, it's hard to direct a film. It is. And it doesn't always turn out the way you want it to. And, you know, you hope that somebody will gravitate. You hope that somebody will, like it and dive in and find some positive out of it. And, yeah, just this did not go well. This did not do well. Nobody really liked it. It got critically panned. And, I don't know, man. Like I said, trying to find something. The positive here, a couple of positives. That Travolta and Kelly Preston got to work together. Like I said, maybe their last time. And that Kevin Connolly completed a feature-length film and got to direct John Travolta. And you know, I mean, like we know, it is a hard task to direct a film. It is not an easy thing, and it's a great accomplishment. So if I were to take away anything good from it, I would say congrats to him for accomplishing it and getting it done and getting it out there for the world. Unfortunately, it just wasn't very good. And I feel bad for that. I do feel bad for that. I don't want to hate this movie, but I hate this movie. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is for my number 3. We went and saw this one, and I have very high expectations for it because it had a great cast.
Yes!
I'm talking about Sorry to Bother You. This was one of Lakeith Stanfield's first leading man roles.
Yep.
Especially in a freaking, you know, feature film. But I mean, this had an amazing cast. It had Tessa Thompson, Amari Hardwick, Terry Crews, Danny Glover, Armie Hammer, Stephen Yeun, David Cross, Lily James, Rosario Dawson, Patton Oswalt, Forrest Whitaker. Like, the list goes on and on, man. But like, I don't know. I don't know if we just didn't understand the story. I don't know what it was, but it was just one big ass acid trip. Okay. Like, I had no idea what was going on. And then the horse people came out, and like, it was so odd. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't in the right state of mind, but I just could not buy into this story. I mean, IMDb gives it a 6.9 out of 10, which is a very fair rating for decent movies. But like I said, I just could not get into this thing. It was so weird. It was out of my realm. Maybe I'll go back and try to watch it again. But as it stands now, I did not like this movie at all. It was one that I thought about us walking out on because it was rough, man. So yeah, number 3 for me. Sorry to bother you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm totally down for that. All right. And I'm with you. Even if you were on acid watching that movie, when the horse people came out, even in an altered state of acid, that didn't fucking make sense. None of that shit made sense to me. I'm like, what the fuck are we watching right now? Is just like, yeah. I'm totally with you. Okay. I'm making a last minute adjustment. My number 3 was Twilight, because I did walk out of that movie. Me and my ex-brother-in-law, one of my closest friends, Derek, we went to see that. We were all excited. We knew nothing about the books. We had no idea. We're just like, ooh, wolves versus vampires. This is going to be badass. And then I saw the sparkling fucking vampire. I was like, what the fuck? We were out of there quick as shit. But I'm changing it because your number 3 made me think of another one that we watched that we desperately sat through, wanted to get up time after time and get the fuck out of there because we were like, what the fuck are we watching? And it was another one with a phenomenal cast, Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, and everything. We were thinking, all in, this is going to be epic. I'm talking about The Lighthouse. What the fuck was that? Like, just from start to finish, I could not understand the movie. Like, what the fuck are we living inside these people's heads where they start to deteriorate and go mentally insane when they're stuck on this, like, island with the lighthouse during this torrential season and they're running out of food and they're running... I don't know, but it was god awful. It was horrible from start to finish. The scene where he's like basically just like whacking off to this like mermaid statue, it was disturbing to me. It wasn't even like, it was just disturbing. I'm like, and we went back to it. We had to see it more than once. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? We literally kept looking at the watches like, how fucking long is this movie? I feel like we've been here 18 hours already. It was one of the strangest, oddest, weirdest movies I have ever seen in my life. I will say my positive of this one is their performances were brilliant. You bought in from start to finish that they were fucking crazy. The problem is the movie made absolutely just fucking crazy no sense. It was just... I don't even know. But yeah, my number 3, The Lighthouse.
Yeah, that one was really rough. That we had such high expectations for that one. Like, I mean, they were saying Oscar worthy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and that's a very controversial one because people actually like that shit. And
I was just like,
I have no idea what they see that we don't see. I mean, a black and white, cinematography beautiful. But yeah, that movie is weird.
Yeah.
Just this next one is also probably controversial for other people, and actually people like it. And I mean, they're awaiting a sequel, and I mean, it's got my boy in it, but I don't know, man. But I'm talking about World War Z, with Brad Pitt. I'm really not the biggest fan of zombies. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I don't really find the concept that interesting because it's something that gets so overplayed and just so like bang, 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 bang hammered into you that I'm just like, okay, I'm over zombies. Like I really am. And I mean, the first time I watched it, I was like, this is all right. But then I watched it again and I was like, okay, whatever. Like, which sucks because like I said, I really like Brad Pitt and I like when Brad Pitt has long hair too. So I was just like, it's very disappointing. Very disappointing. So yeah, number 2 for me, World War Z.
How can a movie with Brad Pitt with long hair be bad? I don't know.
Exactly.
It's just like, what is going on?
That's what I'm saying.
Speaking of a movie where the lead had long hair that was really fucking bad, it's the number 2 movie on my list with John Travolta, and I'm talking about the epically bad, horrendous, god-awful Battlefield Earth. I have nothing good to say about this. Was a love fest to Scientology. It is basically about this alien race of evil people that come and try to drain the Earth of its resources. Yeah. All you need to know is that it's a love fest to Scientology, hidden in a really bad sci-fi movie. That should explain everything right there. That's all you need to know. That's all. It's a really bad sci-fi movie that's a love letter to Scientology.
Yeah,
move on. Sucked.
Yeah.
Sucked. I just don't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah, that one was odd. That one really was odd.
Just bad. Bad. It looked. I mean, John Travolta looked like a twisted Vulcan, like some sort of crazy ass long-haired Vulcan. I don't know. Just did not work.
Oh my goodness. Well, number 1 for me goes to Anne Hathaway lead pick One Day. If you haven't heard of this one, I don't blame you. I was not a fan. Okay, it's basically about these 2 friends who are madly in love, but it's never the right time. Somebody always has somebody else is in a relationship, and it's just one of those things. And you go through years and years and years of this, decades. It's an hour and 47 minutes of just bullshit, in my opinion. And then, guys, the payoff, spoiler alert, Anne Hathaway gets fucking hit by a bus. And like, I'm like, why did we watch that? Like that, I mean, Emily definitely has differing opinions on this one because she really enjoyed it. But then I was like, I that was an hour and 47 minutes of my life wasted.
Mm.
So yeah, man, I just was not a fan of that one. Definitely other people have different opinions, but not me. So number one of my least favorite movies, One Day.
Mm. There you go. There you go. My number one won an Oscar, right? Won the Oscar, right? If I'm not mistaken. Like
I think for best director.
yeah, yeah. My number one is a film called Roma, Alfonso Cuarón. Um, I'd like to tell you all about this movie, except I can't because I have yet to finish it. I have attempted to finish it no less than 6 times. I cannot. I continuously turn it off and or fall asleep during it. I don't have any idea what the plot is. I can't tell you who really stars in it. I don't know what you're trying to say in it. It's boring as fuck. Like I just can't get through it. It drags. It doesn't captivate me. It doesn't make me think. It doesn't interest me of the characters. I can't connect to the characters. Nothing. Nothing about this film stood out to me. Every time I attempt to watch it, I'm like, how was this up for Best Picture? How did this, like... I've wasted so much time trying to finish this film, and I can't. I want to, just so I can fairly dog it. Fairly say that I gave it every intention and I still think it sucks. I just can't get there. I can't finish it to fairly say I finished it to say it sucks. I will just say it sucks so bad I can't finish it. Take that what you will. I know, hammer at me. Come have the comments. A lot of people loved this fucking thing. They thought it was the greatest cinematic thing of whatever. I couldn't fucking finish it. I couldn't finish it. My number one, Roma.
Yeah, best direction, best picture,
Best picture.
Best supporting actor, best supporting actress, and best actress nominated. But yeah, best direction and best picture won, and best supporting actress won.
Best
yeah,
picture. Best. Sometimes the Academy gets it fucking wrong. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. Well, I now I need to know what was up against it that probably deserved it because
yeah, right.
What year was that? Like it was a couple of years ago, right?
2018.
Oh shit! It was that long ago.
Yeah.
And it's still sitting bad with me. It's still sitting bad with me. I can't fucking believe it. Oh. Anyway, watch it or not. I don't, just like the whole, like Logan said, this whole list, watch them or not. But
yeah,
we weren't fans. We were not fans.
Not at all. But what's your least favorite movie? We want to know, fans out there. Be sure to add us on Twitter or comment below in the podcast commenting section or YouTube comment section. We really do. It's a fun game, man. It's a fun game. Heading over to the box office recap. Yes, we did see Paw Patrol, the mighty movie, come in at number one. It came in at $22.8 million. And yeah, man, way off of last week. We were definitely making fun of it a little bit, but you know, there's people out there that want to see Paw Patrol.
Apparently.
Well, Saw, the latest iteration of Saw, came out and at number 2 with 18.3 million. The Creator, John David Washington led film, came in at number 3 with 14.1. The number 4 spot was held by The Nun 2 with 4.8. And number 5 was The Blind, whatever that is, at 4.4. So yeah, there you go, man. That's what it is. But of course, like we talked about this in the industry news, The Exorcist Believer comes out this week, and that's about it. Move along. There's really nothing else to see here. Or, I mean, you know, if you want to go back and see Paw Patrol, why not? What's the blind though? That's the real
Yeah, that's
question.
my question. What is the
Um,
blind? I'm blind to what it is. I
yeah,
can't see it. I don't know.
exactly. Completely ignorant. Have no idea. But anyway, check out these movies. You still got A Haunting in Venice, Dumb Money, The Equalizer 3, Expendables 4, Barbie in some select theaters, as well as Oppenheimer. So that's very exciting, as well as, Saw, The Creator, None, The Blind, whatever. So be
Yeah.
sure to check
I
those
definitely
out.
still want to see Dumb Money and The Equalizer 3. I got to get
Yeah,
to the theater and see those. I got to.
it's same, man, same. Well, the IMDb Pros top trending segment, man, The Creator was number one, which was very interesting because it must have been a critical place. It's very much AI, iRobot meets Terminator infused. But I think it looked really well,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go see that one. But yeah, man, I'm kind of surprised by it though, to be honest. Top trending TV show is Sex Education. I think there's a new season coming out, so that makes sense. That
It's
makes
final,
sense.
right? Like I think it's its
I
final season.
I
I think
think you
so.
might be right. I think you might be right. And the top trending star, of course, Michael Gambon. Of course, he died. So that's why he's the top trending star. It's
Yeah.
not funny, but it's kind of ironic every single week that it's either controversy or death. That's what gets you to the number one spot on IMDb.
Yeah.
So
Well, we had a
there it
couple
is.
biggies die this week too. So next week when we do the show, I'm sure they'll be number one top trending star, or one of them. Dick Butkus, man. Dick Butkus
I
died,
know.
man.
I
That
saw that. I saw that.
ah,
Absolutely
dude was
wild.
a
Um,
beast, man. But
It
oh well.
was. It was the Bears.
The Bears.
But anyway.
Who kicked the Redskins' ass last night? Holy shit! They
Yeah,
finally got a
yeah, man.
win. Yeah.
Finally. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 236. We really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. We thank you every single week. Be sure to follow everything everywhere all at once on social media, which is us at Crazy Ant Media, at ITCAF Podcast, and at Everything's Okay Podcast, our mental health podcast. We just had a new episode come out about parenting, so be sure to check that out as well. Very freaking awesome. Ryan Krause, Ella Thompson, or Ella Thomas, and with a special guest, their son Noah popped in, which is perfect because obviously it's about parenting. So
I
gotta
mean,
have the kid.
yeah,
Gotta have the
and
kid.
he was awesome because he took us back to the prehistoric age, the Jurassic
Yes,
age. It was like, watch it, you'll see what we're talking about. But it was fucking hilarious. I mean, it just, and
exactly.
what a great looking fucking family that is, huh?
Right,
Jesus, man, when you
exactly.
say picture perfect, they are literally picture perfect. They are just like
Literally.
goodness gravy, but just
So funny.
genuinely awesome human beings as well. So go check out that episode for sure.
Yes, for sure. Episode 15. Episode 15. And of course, be sure to follow us both personally on social media. Myself at J Logan Austin and
At Crazy Ant CEO.
yeah, buddy. And of course, be sure to subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, and Stitcher. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, we really appreciate you, man. Be sure to hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for all the latest and greatest news coming out of Crazy Ant Media.
Yes.
Man, oh man. And of course, be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest Crazy Ant Media gear. You can check out our movie deadlines on there right now. You can message us about podcast consultation if you want to start your own podcast and find your voice. So be sure to do that as well. We love lending that helping hand, man.
We do.
But it was honestly just a great show. I was very entertained by all the stuff, but I'm honestly very happy with Netflix having so much good content in the can, getting it developed and having it ready to come out. So kudos to Netflix, man. Really proud.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, anytime we talk about Loki, it fires me up. I'm super excited, and I can't wait to see how that leads directly into Secret Wars and all the stuff that's going on there. And honorable mention, we didn't throw it in, but the season finale of Ahsoka, which was amazing and clearly sets up season 2. Although Dave Filoni says it's not guaranteed yet. What?
Yeah, right.
You can't leave it like that. Jesus, stop doing that. Stop leaving shows where we don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, man, just anytime we can dive in and talk about what we love and talk about the fun stuff, and anytime that we can see our people, right? Like all the shows this week, I've seen past guests of ours on there. Some of them two in the same show, in the same scene. Like, yeah. I love that. I love that we can no longer watch a show or a movie and not see somebody that we've had the great honor of interviewing and or becoming friends with. It's amazing. And it's just a testament to how talented they are and how just like freaking awesome it is. It's so fucking cool.
It really is, man. It really is. And speaking of somebody who's so fucking cool and amazing and just all around fabulous human being, we love the one, the only
Oprah!